No problem. It's like Farid Abdullah, Hafidhullah, used to say, the ruling, there is no exception. There's no ruling on exception, I should say. Exception, there's no rule. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So if there's a person that has an exception, then this doesn't count for that person. Okay? But for those people who don't have the exception, then the rule is applied. Okay? Then the rule is applied. So I'm not to offend anybody, you know.
No, it's just sometimes you don't say, when I get pain, I just put my hand down.
ما فيش مشكلة. تفضل. You know, one person had something with his leg and he stretched his leg and the Free told him, look, you shouldn't put your bottom of your feet towards the Qibla. The person explained he had a problem. He said, تفضل. Put your legs forward. Have no, you know, go about your business. You know, likewise, those people who have those exceptions, do what you got to do. Otherwise, sit up. Be sharp. Grow like a tree. Be an example for the children. You know what I mean? So they can look up and say, I'm going to be like that when I grow up. But if you look like Joe the Slouch, children are going to say, well, you know, I guess we slouches. You know, nobody wants to be slouches. Anyway, Abjad, how was Huttiya Kaliman, Sa'fas, Qurishat, Fakhid, Dadig. Say Fa, Fakhid, Dadig. Okay, now, after memorizing that, have you memorized it? Let's hear it.
Abjad, how was Huttiya Kaliman, Sa'fas, Fakhid,
Qurishat.
Qurishat, Fakhid, Dadig.
Dadig. Make your mouth round. Say Dadig. Everybody say Da. Dadig. 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 Say Fakhid. You got to stick that tongue out and it's soft. Fakhid. Dadig. Abjad. Hawaz. Huttiya. Kaliman. Sa'fas. Qurishat. Fakhid. Dadig. Recite it. Huttiya. Qurishat. Fakhid. Fa. Fa. Everybody say fa. See my tongue? Fa. 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 Stick your tongue out. It's called a teeth and tongue. Qasim Ahmed, back in the days, he used to call it that. Fakhid. 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 And you need wetness in the back of your tongue to put that kha out. Remember they used to tease, oh, that's that hakamu. Yeah, it's that hakamu language. Fakhid. Dadig. Fakhid. Dadig. Abjad. Hawaz. Huttiya. Kaliman. Sa'fas. Qurishat. Fakhid. Dadig. Abjad. Hawaz. Huttiya. Kaliman. Sa'fas. Qurishat. Fakhid. Dadig. Now we go to the next part. Go up. This is called the legend of the giant kings. Okay. When you study, there are some things that come as what they call myth, right? A myth is a story, or a legend is a story that has truth, but we cannot establish it with Quran and Sunnah. We cannot establish it with a hadith from the Messenger of Allah. We cannot find it in the Quran. But this is a statement that we do find archaeologically. We do find bit-tatabba'i. Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, he used to mention that with this science, tatabba'naha. We followed it. Okay, we followed the science. We researched it and found that it only breaks down into 3 types of words, right? Through researching it, sneaking up afterwards. Likewise, when we studied and researched this science, we found this story in more than enough places that it was established. But we can't establish it through Quran and Sunnah, so we call it a legend. This is called the legend of the giant kings. It goes, it's said that the Arabs were always great speakers and listeners, but not always good readers and writers. It's said that once upon a time, no Arab could read or write. In fact, it's said that there was a time where they didn't even have an alphabet. That was during the time of the 6 giant kings, the 6 stingy kings of Midian. Abu Jad was the oldest. Now Abu Jad, his name, it means father of my grandfather, which means the great grandfather. And he was the oldest. Next came Hawaz, Huttiya, and Kalman. Now, Kalman was the most recognized out of all these kings. Why? Because Kalman had a sister. It said that all these people, they were the descendants of Abu Jahl, maybe his sons and his nephews. But Kalman, he had a sister, and he used to come to the market with his sister all the time. And when he came to the market, people used to say, oh, wow, look, there goes Kalmun, there goes Kalmun. And they would gather around him hoping that he would give them some sadaqah. But he never did, because remember, these were 6 stingy kings. As the story goes, then comes Sa'fas and Qurishat, the 2 that came after them. The 6 kings were only concerned with themselves. They never did anything to help anybody. It reminds of the different kings, how they act sometimes. And in the land of the 6 kings, there were a lot of people in need. Why? There was only a little bit of water. And in their area, there was a small amount of water. It wasn't in Tasharat. It wasn't all over the place. So they had to wazen it out. And the kings, they took most of the water for themselves and only left a little bit for the people. This was difficult because they lived in a very hot climate. And as the years when time went by and years went by, the water mostly dried up. So there was only enough water for the kings now. What did the people do? The people gathered around the king's castles and they demanded, give us some water, share the water with us. But what do kings do when people protest? They send the troops out. They said, look, you guys don't get out of here, we can kill you. And you won't really need some water. So the people started to go away. As they were going away, they noticed big clouds in the horizon, like outside where they lived. The kings also noticed it. They thought it was what? Rain clouds. It was been a drought, no rain, the water's drying up, it's getting hot by the day. The king's troops came rushing out of the castles and told the people, you guys stay here. We're going to go sit under the clouds and get the first rain to come down on us, and we're going to benefit from it, and then we'll let y'all get some rain. But right now, y'all stay inside the citadel. Ain't that greedy and stingy? You know? So then they go under it, and what happens? What happens is that the cloud starts to turn red and gray. It starts to thunder and lightning and roar. And those people were killed. It said the cloud, in some narrations, that the cloud fell on top of them. It said that the cloud crushed them. It said that the cloud choked them. It said that the cloud drowned them. It said that the cloud struck them with lightning. There's so many different statements, but the bottom line is that the cloud killed every last one of them. Shortly thereafter, some people from Al-Anbar and different places, other areas, passed through, and they were told this story. These people, they were educated people. They said, well, why don't you all take, y'all don't have no way to document this? Y'all don't have no writing system? Why don't you take the names? They noticed that the names of those kings matched with most of the letters in the alphabet, the tantak, the way the people talk. And so these people, they wrote out these letters and said, here, take this one's name, and they made the alphabet, utilizing the letters of these kings' names. Now, I told you there were 6 kings. When they got to the last king, Qurishat, they realized there were still 6 more letters. And so they made up or came up somehow and devised 2 more words, Fakhid, Dadid, to complete the alphabet that these, or the language that these people were talking. And that is how the Arabs came up with their writing system. And that is why you'll see in Hebrew, when you look it up, it'll have Abjad, Hawaz, Huttiya, Kaliman, Sa'fas, Qurishat. They'll start with Qurishat. You look up in Russian, it'll say Abjad, Hawaz, Huttiya, all the same. In all the worlds, Greek and Latin, follow this Abjadiyya. And all of them, they don't know where it came from. They say it came from Phoenicians. They say they don't have the story. Someone made up these names. It just shows that they were poor students. And they didn't listen clearly to the story, because the Arabs clearly tell you where these names came from, who these people were, and how they derived it into an alphabet. And that's what we have here. Go on down, please. Keep going down, please. Here goes a story, one of the poems that's found. The archaeologists found a poem that the sister of Kalmun wrote, eulogizing her brother. The gist of it has been translated as follows. There goes Kalmun, his people once cried, but my brother was busy and never replied. He rode off without us while laughing and proud the day that he died inside of a cloud.